Hello dear students, today we are going to talk about reticular activating system. Now we all know that brainstem of the central nervous system has three parts. As you know, midbrain, pons and medulla. And medulla continuous spinal cord, right? Now this brainstem has three parts: midbrain, pons and medulla. Now, reticular formation or reticular activating system is the functional part of reticular formation. Reticular activating system is the functional part of reticular formation. Now, why this name is given formation? As we all know that central nervous system is made up of gray matter and white matter, and gray matter is nothing but collection of nuclei. And what is nuclei? Nuclei is made up of group of cell bodies present within central nervous system, and this group of nuclei, if it is present outside the central nervous system or peripheral nervous system, it is called ganglia. Now, why this name formation is given to this part and where it is situated? This formation is nothing but the mixture of gray matter and white matter. Gray matter and white matter. And this reticular formation is present throughout the brainstem, deep centrally located or centrally situated part of brainstem, and which is a mixture of gray matter and white matter. Now, this reticular formation has ascending fibers which ascend toward the cerebral cortex and some descending reticular formation. The fibers that are going downward, they are descending. The fibers through the reticular formation going upward, they are ascending reticular formation, and which is the functional part of reticular formation, and it is also called reticular activating system. Now this ascending part or ascending fibers from the reticular formation pass through the relay center of central nervous system, which is called thalamus. Now if we zoom this thalamus in our body, it has central Y-shaped gray matter. So this Y-shaped gray matter consists of multiple nuclei, and these nuclei are called centromedian nuclei. Centromedian nuclei. Now, reticular formation, ascending fibers of the reticular formation pass through this centromedian nuclei and ascend upward toward the cerebral cortex. So from here, these fibers, ascending fibers through the centromedian nuclei connected to the cerebral cortex, and all the cortex, occipital, temporal, parietal as well as frontal cortex. So what is the function of this reticular formation or ascending reticular formation? Now this reticular activating system or ascending reticular formation helps in regulating consciousness, helps in regulating sleep wake cycle, helps in regulating alertness, and helps in regulating awareness. So when you get tired, neurotransmitter within the reticular formation gets exhausted, and you feel sleepy. So it has a biological switch which regulates sleep and wake cycle, and when you get tired, all the neurotransmitter gets exhausted and eventually you sleep, and after replenishing the neurotransmitter you start getting awake. So this reticular formation helps in regulating motor sensation through the parietal lobe, visual sensation through the occipital lobe, and auditory sensation through the temporal lobe. So basically reticular formation helps you keep awake and alert. So it regulates consciousness, sleep wake cycle, alertness, and awareness. And all these fibers pass through the centromedian nuclei of thalami. Now, what is the clinical significance of this reticular formation or reticular activating system? If there is damage to the brainstem, if there is any damage to the brainstem within the reticular formation, consciousness, alertness, and awakeness reduces. Some anesthetic drug also lead to loss of consciousness by acting on this reticular formation, and this loss of consciousness by the anesthetic agent is the reversible loss of consciousness, right? So this reticular activating system is the most important part of the central nervous system that keeps you awake and alert. Now, one of the most important part of the reticular formation is the medullary reticular formation. Why medullary reticular formation? Because this medullary reticular formation also controls cardiac center, respiratory center, and vasomotor centers. So what is reticular activating system? Reticular activating system is nothing but functional part of ascending reticular formation. What is reticular formation? Why it is called formation? Formation means mixture of gray matter and white matter. Ascending reticular formation through the centromedian nuclei of thalamus, the fibers they connected to the cerebral cortex, all the frontal cortex, parietal cortex, occipital cortex, and temporal cortex, in which in this way it controls motor, visual, and auditory sensation. Descending fibers also control or modulate. Descending reticular fibers also modulate pain sensation. But since we are talking about reticular activating system, which is the ascending reticular formation, not descending. And what is the clinical significance? During the damage to the brain stem, medullary or pontine or midbrain hemorrhage, trauma, or any tumors that also damages, that may damage reticular formation. In that way, it also leads to reduction in consciousness, alertness, and awakeness. And some anesthetic agents also leads to loss of consciousness, but that loss of consciousness is reversible loss of consciousness. So this is all about reticular activating system. Thank you.